Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Drum Study Abroad. I'm Ada, and if you're here, you are likely tired of the confusion surrounding the Irish visa study process. Let me be very honest with you. I see too many students lose their dreams of studying in Ireland, not because they aren't smart enough, but because they treat the visa checklist like a grocery list. They pick up a few items, throw them in the bag, and hope for the best. That hardly ever works. But the Irish Naturalization and Immigration Service doesn't work on hope, they work on evidence. Today, I'm not just going to read a list to you, I'm going to walk you through the logic behind the checklist. By the end of the session, you will be able to understand exactly why many refusals happen, and more importantly, how you'll be part of the successful applicants who get the approval stamp. Now, let's get into it. So now we're going to start with the basics and with the offer letter and the receipt. Now I want you to pause here because this is where most dreams die. The checklist clearly states that you need a receipt from the school. Confirmation of identity of the person who paid is compulsory. Let me give you a scenario. You find someone who has access to foreign exchange, maybe a friend, your brother's grandma's sister's cousin, or someone you met somewhere. You offer to pay your tuition fees directly to the school. It seems convenient, right? You think, great, that problem is solved. But here's the trap. The moment that person pays your fees, they automatically become your sponsor in the eyes of the Irish immigration. And if that person is not a family member, you will then have a massive problem. You now have to provide their 6 months bank statements, their employment letter, their pay slips, their proof of identity, and a clear explanation of your relationship to them. If they are unwilling and unable to provide all that, most people in that situation are not. The application is dead on arrival. So let me save you the heartache. Do not allow anyone outside your immediate family pay for your tuition fees unless they are fully prepared to step into the role of a sponsor with full documentation. Also, your international passport must have at least 1 year of validity. And listen carefully, you must print all pages, every single page, even the blank ones, when you're going to submit. This is not a suggestion. If you submit only the data page, your application will be returned to you. Do not give them a reason to delay your application. So for you to apply for a student visa, you actually have to prove to the embassy that you are a genuine student. Now let's talk about your academic credentials. You have your WIAC or your IGCS or your GCSEs or your secondary school certificate. You have your degree transcript, you have your degree certificates, you have your NYSC certificate, you have your English test results. Here's what students get wrong. They assume that because they have a degree, they don't need to explain their academic journey. But the visa officer is looking for consistency. In Ireland, they want consistency. If you studied one course at university and you're applying for something completely different in Ireland, you need to connect those dots in your application. Your English test result matters. The minimum requirements are IELTS Academic 5.0. There's TOEFL requirements, there's CTE requirements as well. But let me be clear, meeting the minimum is not the same as being competitive. If your course requires a higher level of English proficiency to succeed, you better aim above. One thing I would say is that with regards to all the countries where you need to have an English test to actually study there, Ireland has the most lenient score requirement. So if you need to go to New Zealand, Australia, you need much higher scores. But to study in Ireland, they only require a 5.0. That is lower than the UK, lower than New Zealand, lower than the UEA, lower than most countries we know. So something I've also pointed out is that meeting the minimum is not the same as being competitive, and Ireland is actually quite competitive. So in trying to show that you are a genuine student, it's not a bad idea to get a better IELTS result. Another thing is that your CV must clearly state your positions and your responsibilities and start and end dates of every role. Vague descriptions just raise red flags, and we don't want them to raise any red flags. You have to be very specific. Show them that you are a serious professional or a student with a very clear trajectory. They are so strict. So everything you're doing, you're trying to prove that you are a genuine student. So hopefully you've heard everything I've said. And if you need us to help you look through your documents, DM us at Drum Study Abroad. Follow us on all our social media platforms and just come to us so we can assist you with your application to study in Ireland. Now, I want us to look at letters, your story in their words. Now, this is where you tell your story, but you must tell it in a way that the visa officer can understand. Your accommodation letter must be a genuine inquiry. You do not fake this. The embassy can verify accommodation details, and if they find inconsistency, your credibility is damaged, because you can't apply for an Irish visa without showing them where it is you're planning to stay when you get there. Best option is to get school accommodation where available. If available, some of our partners like Griffith College in Ireland has accommodation on campus, but if you do not apply early, you will miss out on that. So if you have proof that you've paid your accommodation deposit, that's fantastic. Otherwise, you have to make either Airbnb arrangements for where you would land or hotel arrangements for where you will land, and show money that you can afford to stay wherever you claim you would. This is really, really important in Ireland. Your sponsorship letter must be dated, and the sponsorship amount must be clearly stated. The name on your sponsorship letter must match exactly the name on the sponsor's identification, which includes like their passport or whatever official documentation they're using to prove that they are the sponsor. If there's a mismatch, even a small one, it creates doubt. So if you have a sponsor called Mr. Okoro or Mr. John Okoro, it shouldn't have Mr. J. Obina Okoro or something like that. Even though there's some middle names either removed or included, everything has to match exactly. Remember that. And then there's your statement of purpose. This is not an essay about your childhood dreams. This is a strategic document which must answer 3 questions clearly. Why Ireland? Why this specific course? And why you? It must show that you understand the course content and that you've researched the university and that you have a clear plan for what you will do after graduation. A vague statement of purpose is one of the fastest ways for you to get a refusal. So these are things that you have to get in check. If you want us to look over your statement of purpose, slide into our DMs and we can see if it's something that we can assist you with if you're looking to study in Ireland. We have entered the make or break section, finances and money. This section causes the most anxiety, the financial document section. Let me break this down to you simply. You have 2 sets of financial documents. The first set comes from you, the student, and the second comes from you, your sponsor. So unlike other countries where you have a sponsor, you only need to show the sponsor's account. In Ireland, even if you don't have money, your account must be shown. So the student's account must be shown as well, in addition to the sponsor's account. So from you, your bank statement is compulsory. It must be stamped and signed by the bank, and it must cover a 6-month period. If you are working, you must present your salary account and your payslip. The birth certificate is not a document. It's not just a document. It's your proof of your link to your sponsor. So if your sponsor is your parents, your birth certificate is the evidence that connects you. So do not forget this. Similarly, if you have an aunt or an uncle that is trying to sponsor you, it will be very important if you can link your birth certificate, your mom's own and your auntie's own. You need to show proof of relationship. There's no anything you leave for guesswork in Ireland is going to lead to a visa refusal. Then your sponsor, the requirements are even more detailed. The sponsor's bank statement must show a minimum of 10,000 euros for Dublin, but we would always recommend at least 12,000. If there's more, even better. This is not about showing off wealth. It's about showing that you have sufficient funds to cover your living expenses without resorting to unauthorized work or becoming a burden to the state. Your sponsor must provide their employment letter, 6 months of pay slips and 6 months of bank statement. And here's the critical point. Company and business accounts are not allowed. So anybody that is choosing to sponsor you needs to sponsor you from their personal account. If your sponsor owns a business, the money must be transferred to their personal account and held there long enough to show consistency. The truth is that you could use a company account, right? but it requires a lot of documentation, paper trail to show that all the board members in the entire company have approved that um, that that they can actually sponsor that student. In very rare cases, it works, and it's unfortunate in Africa. A lot of businesses or business owners use their company accounts like their personal account. The embassy does not view you and your business as the same person. A business is a separate entity to yourself. Even though you have the account, you have the cards, you're the only signatory, there's a lot of paperwork that will have to go into that. So we would prefer personal accounts anyway. Now, I want to address something. The checklist highlights in capital letters. Any big payments in or out of your account must be explained in a letter with receipts or proof. And listen to me carefully. We cannot explain this for you. You must explain it yourself. If a large sum of money suddenly appears in your account or your sponsor's account, the officer will assume it was borrowed just for the application unless you provide a clear documented explanation. This is one of the most common reasons for refusal, so do not ignore this. Very, very important. So I'm going to have a run through of the supporting documents, or just go through the list just so you have an idea of what it is you need to have. So the core pillars that you need: your offer letter, your tuition fee payment and receipt, your passport, which must have a minimum of 6 months validity on it. And so what that means is that from the time your course starts, you must have at least 6 months after that. Otherwise, you won't be able to get a visa on that particular passport. So if you look at your passport and say you're starting your course in January, it means that your passport must have validity. If it's expiring in February, March, April, May, June, July, any time, you must have 6 months clear for them to be able to give you a student visa from wherever it is you're actually applying. So take note of that. Obviously, your visa form, you need medical insurance, that is compulsory. You need your academic documents, your WIAC, your O-level certificate, your degree, your transcript. You need your English test, which is compulsory regardless of, if you're from Nigeria or Ghana or Kenya, you must have your English test. Your CV must be properly written. And your SOP, that is non-negotiable. Accommodation, proof of accommodation, you must show as well. Sponsor documents, if you are not your own sponsor, you have to show that as well. Bank statements, 6 months, and they must be stamped and signed. Your employment evidence, if you've ever worked, your references, letter of employment, etc., and your police clearance where required. A big plus for you, one thing I actually think I'd like to really focus on is that you should not allow anyone to make your tuition fee payment on your behalf. Anybody who pays your tuition fee becomes an official sponsor, and the main issue with that is that that person must be ready to go and bring 6 months bank statements and every document that we are requesting. So usually you might have a rich uncle who's happy to give you the money or pay your school fees. Many times they don't want to pay for you. They'll just pay the school directly because they're usually afraid that some irresponsible younger ones would just maybe spend the money on obli or go and have a party or go and have a good time. So they pay the money directly to the institution. If that uncle is not ready to bring out his bank statement and show proof of how he's related to you, bring it, maybe his bank statement, if it's your mom's brother, to show that both of them are related, just abort. Just know that Ireland will not be the right place for you. Then I'll give you some other examples. A friend, a malam that transfers money, your boyfriend or your girlfriend, your banking officer, a crypto person who has forex. Avoid these people unless that person is willing to provide 6 months bank statement, proof of payment, all the documents in the sponsor section, and show a genuine relationship to you. Do not allow them pay your fees. I've seen too many students lose everything because they took a shortcut at the payment stage, and it's not worth it. So please beware. So now let's put it all together and let's summarize what success looks like. Success is not just having all the documents. Success is having a consistent story. Your academic documents should match your statement of purpose. Your financial documents should show a clear, verifiable source of funds. Your sponsor should be someone you can prove a relationship to. And every large transaction should be explained. You will need to make 3 photocopies of everything. After your documents have been checked, you will need to photocopy every page of your passport. All 6 months bank statements must be recent and should be obtained after your fees are paid. This process requires discipline, requires attention to detail, but it's absolutely doable, and that is one of the services we can offer you at Just Video Code. You have the information, you know what is required and why it matters. The question is, what are you going to do with the information I've given you? Do not let a wrong pathway choice stop your dream. You have the qualifications, you have the drive, and now you need the right guidance to execute. If you're ready to take action and you want a team that will walk with you and sort this out for you and with you, from reviewing your documents to ensuring your application tells the right story, genuinely reach out to us directly on all social media platforms. Since you're still here, please do subscribe to our channel and give us a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Make sure you're following Drum Study Abroad on all our platforms, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, for more guidance and live updates. We're constantly sharing updates, answering questions, and helping students like you avoid the mistakes that delay dreams. Your Irish study journey starts with a decision to do it right. Make that decision today. I look forward to celebrating your visa approval with you very soon. See you in the next video.